Have you ever thought about what would happen if you lost your job tomorrow? Or if your car broke down on the way to work and the repair cost more than your rent? Most people think emergencies like these are rare, but the truth is, over 60% of Americans say they couldn't cover a $500 emergency without borrowing or using a credit card. Today, we're answering the big question on everyone's mind. Do you really need an emergency fund? And wait until you hear the one situation where having too much cash in your emergency fund might actually hurt you. Stick around. This could save you thousands of dollars and a lot of sleepless nights. Number 1. Why emergencies always show up at the worst time. Let's be honest. Life loves throwing curveballs. You can plan your budget perfectly, but then your water heater explodes, your kid breaks an arm, or your company announces layoffs. Emergencies never send you a calendar invite. Here's the thing. If you don't plan for them, you'll end up swiping a credit card, draining your retirement account, or begging family for help. And that can set you back years financially. Example. Last year, a friend of mine had no emergency fund when her car broke down. The repair cost $1,200. She put it on a credit card at 25% interest. By the time she paid it off, she'd spent $300 more in interest alone. That's the price of not having an emergency fund. Number 2. What exactly is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is simply money you set aside, in cash, for unexpected expenses. It's not for vacations, shopping sprees, or upgrading your phone. It's for things like losing your job, medical bills, car repairs, or home maintenance. Think of it as a financial fire extinguisher. You hope you never need it, but when you do, you'll be glad it's there. For example, when my neighbor's roof started leaking during a storm, his emergency fund covered it. No panic, no debt, just a check written and problem solved. Number 3. How much should you save? This is where most beginners get stuck. How much is enough? If you're just starting out, aim for $500 to $1,000 as your first milestone. That'll handle most minor emergencies. Once you have that, your ultimate goal is 3 to 6 months of living expenses. So if your bills, rent, food, utilities, gas, add up to $3,000 per month, you'd want at least $9,000 to $18,000 saved. Why such a big range? Because it depends. If you have a stable job and no kids, 3 months might be fine. If you're self-employed or have a family, aim for 6 months. Here's an example. During the pandemic, people who had at least 3 months of expenses saved were much less likely to fall into debt when the economy shut down. Number 4. Where should you keep it? One mistake I see all the time. People stash their emergency fund in a risky investment or somewhere they can't access quickly. Don't do that. Your emergency fund should always be safe, liquid, and easy to reach. Best options? A high-yield savings account or a regular savings account at your bank. It won't earn you much interest, but that's not the point. For example, one woman I worked with kept her emergency fund in the stock market. When she lost her job, the market had dropped 20%. Her fund was worth way less than she needed. That's a painful way to learn. Keep it boring. Boring is good when it comes to emergencies. Number 5. Why credit cards are not a backup plan. Some people say, why bother saving? I'll just use my credit card if something comes up. That's a dangerous mindset. Credit cards can charge interest rates of 20% or higher. If you lose your job and rack up thousands on your card, that debt can follow you for years. One study found that people who used credit cards for emergencies ended up paying almost double the original expense over time because of interest and fees. An emergency fund saves you from that trap. Number 6. How to build your fund when money is tight. You might be thinking, sounds great, but I can barely pay my bills. How am I supposed to save? Start small. Even $5 or $10 per week adds up. For example, saving $10 a week equals to $520 in a year. That's a solid start. Cut back on little luxuries. Maybe skip a couple of takeout meals, cancel a subscription you don't use, or sell something you don't need. Every dollar you set aside brings you closer. One man I know drove for food delivery on weekends. He put all his extra tips into his emergency fund. Within 6 months, he had over $1,500 saved. Number 7. When can an emergency fund be too big? Here's the twist I promised earlier. Did you know it's possible to save too much in your emergency fund? If you're keeping way more than 6 months of expenses in cash, you're missing out on growth. Money sitting in a savings account earns very little. For example, if you have $50,000 in your emergency fund but only need $20,000, the extra $30,000 could be invested and working for you. So save what you need for emergencies, then put the rest into retirement accounts, stocks, or other investments. Number 8. The emotional benefits of an emergency fund. This part is just as important as the financial side. Having an emergency fund gives you peace of mind. You sleep better knowing you're prepared. You make smarter decisions because you're not panicking. I once met a woman who called her emergency fund her sleep fund because it let her sleep at night without worrying about what might go wrong. Money is emotional, and a little security goes a long way. Number 9. How to keep yourself from touching it. The biggest danger? Dipping into your emergency fund for non-emergencies. Here's a trick. Keep it in a separate account at a different bank. Make it just inconvenient enough that you won't tap it for impulse buys, but easy enough to access in a true emergency. One man I know even nicknamed his account, "Only if absolutely necessary," so he'd think twice before using it. And guess what? It worked. Number 10. How to stay motivated while saving. Saving for something you hope you never need can feel boring. And let's face it, it's not nearly as exciting as booking a vacation or buying something shiny. But here's a little trick to keep yourself motivated. Give your emergency fund a purpose. Picture yourself handing your landlord rent after losing a job, stress-free. Picture fixing your car the same day it breaks down. No panic. One of my coaching clients actually taped a sticky note to her debit card that said, "This emergency fund kept me safe during layoffs." It was a little reminder of how good it feels to be prepared, and it kept her from spending that money on anything but a true emergency. You can also track your progress visually. Draw a little thermometer or use an app that shows how close you are to your goal. That small dopamine hit when you see yourself getting closer can make all the difference. Number 11. What counts as an emergency and what doesn't? So you've got your emergency fund. Now comes the hard part. Knowing when to actually use it. Here's a simple rule. If it's unexpected, necessary, and urgent, it counts. Unexpected car repair? Yes. Medical bill you didn't see coming? Yes. Sudden job loss? Absolutely. But what about concert tickets that are on sale this weekend? No. Or replacing your phone because the newest model came out? Nope. One man once told me his emergency was buying a big screen TV because his team made the playoffs. That's not an emergency. That's just temptation with good marketing. Number 12. Teaching your family about the fund. If you live with a partner or have kids, it's important everyone's on the same page. Explain to your family what the emergency fund is for and what it's not for. One family I know made a little rule sheet and even named their account in case of fire. So, when a situation came up, they'd ask each other, "Is this an in case of fire moment?" If not, they left the fund alone. This can also be a great way to teach kids about responsible money habits. Show them how you're saving a little each month, just in case, and why it matters. Number 13. Common myths about emergency funds. You might have heard people say, "I'm too young to need one." But emergencies don't care about your age. A flat tire can happen at 20 just as easily as it can at 50. Or, "I have a credit card." That's good enough. But we already covered why that's risky and expensive. And then there's, "I can just borrow from family." But relying on family can strain relationships, especially if they're also struggling. Your emergency fund means you don't have to depend on anyone else, and that independence is priceless. Number 14. How often should you review your fund? Your life changes. Your emergency fund should change with it. Every 6 months or so, take a look. Have your expenses gone up? Have you moved, started a family, or taken on a mortgage? Adjust your target as needed. For example, if you were renting for $1,000 a month, but now pay $2,000 on a mortgage, your emergency fund needs to grow to reflect that. And when you dip into it for a real emergency, make a plan to rebuild it as soon as possible. So now it's your turn. If you lost your job tomorrow, how long could you keep paying your bills? 1 week? 1 month? Longer? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear what your personal peace of mind number is.